Hey guys, Happy New Year and welcome back to Weekly Wines. I know it's been a while. The last thing we talked about together was champagnes. And I love when you guys write in questions and emails or talk to me on social about the things that you want me to taste and explore. So one of the questions that I get frequently is about wine clubs. And I am sort of on the fence with them. I think that if there's a producer or a vineyard that you visited and there's a special place in your heart for those wines, you should absolutely sign up for those clubs. Being a part of a wine club gives you access to special allocations, events, when the world is normal again. But I really like people to explore wines based not on someone else's opinion, but on what you might enjoy. And so I love wine packs that are curated to appeal to an array of palates. So for the next 2 weeks, we're gonna talk about the wines available in Kelly Select 6-packs. Okay, these are great wines. Kelly Mitchell is an amazing wine professional. I think that she is so in tune with understanding consumers' palates and knowing that, while we can all study and talk about the traditional wine pairings, what really matters is, does the wine go with what you're eating right now during a pandemic in your house? And what kind of energy and vibe is created around when you enjoy these wines? So, this week, we're doing the whites. Even though it's winter, there are a tremendous amount of white wines that offer a perfect balance of acidity and brightness and freshness that will still go along with these comfort foods that we're more inclined to eat in the winter. Okay, so the first wine we're trying is the 2019 Krugerhof Riesling. This is from the Nahe region of Germany. This is a VDP wine. It's classified as a Gutswein. And what I love about Riesling, God knows, Riesling gets such a bad rep sometimes. So I know people that will not drink Riesling because they're convinced that they all taste like syrup. That is completely false, okay? Rieslings run the gamut from being bone dry with rip your face off acidity, those are the ones I adore the most, to being bright and sweet and refreshing and still maintaining the beautiful minerality and acidity that we love from German Rieslings. So let's try this one. Oh my God, this smells so beautiful. I mean, it's Riesling, so you're getting that touch of petrol first and foremost. And I know I have to say this all the time. When you hear your favorite wine folks talk about petrol, it actually does kind of smell like a gas station. So I'm getting that petrol right away. I'm also getting like these beautiful bright notes of green apple. And when I say green apple, think green apple Jolly Rancher. It smells sweet and juicy and crisp. And when you bite into it, you still get that beautiful burst of acidity that sort of makes your mouth pucker, but not really. If you're really familiar with the composition of a lemon, here I'm getting more of those natural oils in the lemon peel and less of the bitterness that I would get from the pith. But if you're not that far in your journey yet, think lemon. Think your favorite lemon essential oil that you drop into your diffuser. It's giving me that. It smells really good. Also, see what I did there? Don't feel compelled to swish wine around in your mouth like it's mouthwash. It's not mouthwash. What you want to do is make sure that the wine passes over your entire tongue because there's different sensors in your tongue on what it picks up. But no, you don't need to gargle this like you're at the dentist. You guys won't know this, but I'm gonna go and enjoy some really spicy ramen after this. And this is the perfect complement to something like that because it's got that beautiful brightness. So, normally when you order Thai food, there's a little lime wedge on the side for you to squeeze in there, right? So this wine is actually that little hint of acidity that you want to perfectly balance and complement out that spiciness. And the touch of sugar there is just gonna even that all out and accentuate everything. So definitely give this one a try. You guys know me now. You know something Spanish has to be in the mix. Raul Perez is one of my favorite producers. On this alone, we've had his Godeo and we've had his Mencia. And today we're going to join his Albarino. This is the Atelier, right? This is the 2019 Rias Baixas Albarino. You guys know, first of all, I think that right now, the hottest region to drink from, not hot in terms of temperature. Just hot is like what's hot in these wine streets. The wines of Galicia, which are northern Spain, are so freaking phenomenal, particularly the whites. Albarino, you know, everybody knows it as a great seafood wine, and truthfully, it is. It grows near to the sea. These wines are always accentuated or punctuated or noted by these beautiful notes of salinity that exist here. And the region itself prides itself on making these wines to reflect where they're grown. It's quite warm. They have a very interesting vine growing system because of that. It's the paradera, and it is distinctly to protect the vines and protect the grapes from the beaming sun that's down on them. So these wines are getting a lot of sun, so there's a good amount of developing and ripening, but they still maintain, you know what I'm gonna say? Just say it for me. Beautiful acidity. And that's why they go so well with your seafood dishes. And this is one of the few cases where the spice really doesn't matter, because what it's really bringing in this beautiful nuanced acid, but balanced out by salinity, which makes it a wine that is super food friendly, or sit on your couch, binge on Bridgerton or Lupin or whatever it is you're watching these days. You can totally enjoy the entire bottle. So let's get into it, right? So on the nose, it's all the things that I'm looking for. It's that, I'm gonna say this and you guys are gonna know what I mean, okay? You know when you go to the beach and the waves come in and there's just this mist that kind of permeates the air? So I'm gonna call it like foamy beach mist that you're getting from this wine. The salinity and the brightness is there. There's also beautiful notes of, again, like lemon. There's some white flower in here. I mean, if you're a Burgundy lover, particularly a white Burgundy lover, which you all know that I am, this is giving me all the vibes right off the nose. An emo moment. All of the things, okay? So when you the first thing I noticed about tasting this wine, aside from the beautiful bright acidity, is there's a little bit of weight to it, which is not normally what you think of a Rías Baixas Albarino, but the weightiness here, it's not heavy, it's not weighing down your palate. It's the same reason that you want to dip a piece of king crab in a little bit of butter, right? You get this luxurious, velvety umami note that is perfectly complemented by this acid. Oh my God. Not just fresh grilled seafood. I'm enjoying this with, if you're West Indian, a good escovitch fish, perfect pairing. If you're from the South, a good shrimp etouffee or a good low country seafood boil, this is your wine. This is a delicious wine. It's also quite enjoyable because there's all that bright acidity. If you're just putting together a small cheese course with a little bit of meat on there, this is gonna cut through the fat in those cured meats quite beautifully. This is just a delicious wine to enjoy summer, spring, winter, fall. Any time of year, Albarino knocks it out the park. And the third wine we're gonna go with, guys, I mean, you knew I was gonna go with a white Burgundy. Why wouldn't I? We know each other now. This is season 2. You know how I feel about the white wines of Burgundy. So this is the Duruel Jonfion Bourgogne Blanc. This is a 2018 from Côte Chalonnais. And I mean, look, Burgundy is a place that has expensive wines, right? Some of it, we can have several discussions, which I'm sure you all have in your own circles. It's a wax cap, so let's hope I don't break my Coravin trying to open it. All right, I didn't. Okay, you know, we can have many discussions about why Burgundy wines are so expensive, and you can drink other things, and the true answer to that is, well, sure you can, right? But if you like Burgundy wines, there are great wines to be found at all price points, right? So this is a beautiful house white to have, certified organic, very small production. This is one of the benchmark wines of the Côte Chalonnais. Oh my God, it's so good. So these grapes are harvested from just 1.1 hectares of land, and very, very small, aged in barrel for 1 year and then in tank for 6 months. So there's this beautiful balance that I'm already getting where there's this minerality that white Burgundies are known for, that they just shine for. And it's balanced off. Like I can get, these slight oaked notes. It's very, very muted. Sort of like if you bought one of those cedar things to put in your closet. It's not that pronounced, but it's that woody, kind of if you were making cedar plank salmon, right? And when you open the pack first, it's not that pronounced. But once you soak that plank in water for a little bit and then you put it to the heat, those aromas start to come up. So sometimes that's what barrel aging, particularly for Chardonnay, that's what it does. Like it doesn't need much. It's really there to just complement and bring out the natural things that exist in the wine. So, the nose of this wine is just beautiful and interesting and making me want to dive in. There's some tropical notes there too. There's almost, it's weird to say that you can smell creaminess, but you can, right? If you've ever opened a packet of yogurt, you can smell creaminess. If you are from Southeast Asia or the Caribbean and you've ever opened a soursop or a cashew apple or any of these fruits that have like creamy, fleshy textures to them, then you know exactly what I mean when I say you can almost smell creaminess. Oh, happy day. There's a beautiful acidity there. It's not the level of raging acid that I normally like that we tasted when we had, the German Riesling and we had the Rias Baixas Albarino. It's not that level of acidity. And that's really from balancing out that time in barrel and that time in tank, right? Where the acidity is tempered, because Chardonnay is an acidic grape. It's tempered in the most luxurious way. This is super delicious. So I'm gonna be honest, this would be my go-to wine to drink with nothing. One of those days, I don't care like what is happening in your life, there has been a time, and if there hasn't, wait for it, where you're just gonna open a bottle and you're gonna drink the whole thing, because that's what the bottle gave you. You were watching the news, you were watching your favorite show, you were just avoiding everyone else in your life that you didn't want to deal with in the moment. There were exceptionally complicated Zooms that day, whatever. But when you find your escape moment and you're just gonna sit down and pour, this is one of those bottles that you'll keep pouring. And when you get to the last one, you're like, oh, man, damn. So you hear us talk about these house wines. I have a house red, a house white, and a house sparkling. Even though it's been a pandemic, we're almost at our pandiversary, as I've coined it. So I haven't really had any reason to share my house anything wines, but this would be a delicious house wine and would work for it. This is a quintessential, a glass for every palate wine. What I love about Kelly's ability to really just identify wines that work no matter where you are in your wine journey. And when it comes to sort of following wine clubs or buying curated boxes, you really want to understand that the person that curated the box knows these lesser known regions or lesser known producers that are super interesting and priced really, really well. And you want to trust that their palate is good. And I think that Kelly Mitchell knocked it out the park on this one. Join us next week. I'll be back with my picks for the Reds. Until then, drink well and celebrate that we're in a new year with new opportunities and great things on the horizon. Cheers, guys.